My parents always taught me that before I speak to anybody in the morning, I make sure that I clean my mouth, clean my face, and then have the audacity. So good morning. This is so different right now. I haven't vlogged in so long, and honestly I've missed just giving you guys the different perspective to my life. Usually at this time I'm at the gym. I think it's like 9 or 10 a.m. I don't know, but usually at this time I'm at the gym. But I spent my whole day cleaning yesterday, and I'm just not feeling the gym today, if I'm being honest. I'm just not there. You guys can see like the chairs are like upside down. My brother's in the middle of construction, but I went ahead and cleaned like all the floors. I have so many updates to give you guys. I feel like y'all don't even know me anymore. Anyways, let me get to this coffee. Y'all know that TikTok guy that all he does is looks at videos of people that make food, and his only commentary is I'm obsessed with him. All right, y'all, so I finally got my life together. As you can see, my makeup is done. I'm outside. I have some content that's due. I feel like this camera's dirty. Can y'all see me good? I have some content due today that I took forever to work on, if I'm being honest. And I'm about to do a little reel. So it's for one of my favorite skincare brands. It's called Sinai Skin. I actually have a video or two on my channel just talking about Sinai Skin and how amazing her products are. It's been so long since I've vlogged, y'all, that even the camera lens is dirty. But anyways, I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna set you guys up, put you behind the scenes so you can see how I go about doing this. I'm still trying to develop the concept in my head a little bit, but we'll see how that works. Guess who almost forgot that she was vlogging? About to go to the store without y'all. About to not include you in the day. Where are my keys? Keys? Hello? Keys? In my pocket. I'm going to the store. I gotta eat real quick because I have a work meeting in like an hour or so. But I have this Dominican thing that I do that, you know, I like to cook, which I'm only gonna make some white rice because I have some leftovers, but I like to cook with a beer in my hand or with a drink in my hand. And I'm dry, so I'm about to go get me some alcohol. Kids, don't drink. It's not good for you. The good thing about New Orleans and living here is everything is close by. Everything is close by. I remember my first week here, I needed to go to a Target. And when I went to the Target following the GPS, I realized that the Target was in the same like lot, what do you call that, like in the same area as a Home Goods, as a freaking Sam's Club. There was a Walmart like 2 minutes down the street. I was like, what? You'll never see that in Miami. Everything in Miami is like at least 15 minutes away, especially if it's like a Walmart or something. You got to do a little driving. But out here, I have a mall 4 minutes away from my house. Okay, 4 minutes. I go to the mall for food now. Like, that's something that I do normally now. Like, oh, I want some wings from Weedat, and then I go to the mall and get the wings. Never in my life would I have ever thought that I would be that girl to do that. All right, so I got like 20 minutes because the rice is, you know, doing its thing. I figured this would be the perfect time to give you guys a real life update on what is going on with me, where I am, what I've been doing, what compelled me to leave Miami, because I kind of just like did things and left you guys up in the air. If I'm being honest, that's just something that I needed to do for myself, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but some of the content that I was posting, especially in reference to that life update video, I was just going through so much so often. And then I did like a makeup therapy video, which kind of like encompassed a lot of the things that I was going through as well. But I feel like I was trying to I felt like I was trying to put a mask over the reality of like the things that I was going through. And then it came to the point where I had like my breaking point, and I was like, I really gotta go. Like, I have to leave. It started obviously with my breakup with my ex-boyfriend, and I've shown him on my channel a couple of times. Nothing too serious, like during some of my vlogs and stuff, you guys have probably seen him. But outside of that, I never really showcased him. I never really gave you guys any inside scoop on my relationship or anything like that. I just felt like that was private. Is this lighting bad? It started with the breakup, and it wasn't because I'm the one that ended the relationship. So I kind of had to like take the responsibility of really hurting someone else and understanding who I was and hurting myself in that process too. So that alone just felt like a whole lot. And I say that because a lot of times when people think, oh, breakup, the immediate assumption is that the girl was the one who was like broken up with, and not like the girl making the effort to end something that she wasn't happy about, if that makes sense. That breakup was just a lot, just a whole lot for me. Like the self-discovery process of it all, the emotions that come with it. This breakup was different because it wasn't like a, okay, I'm done with you and that's it, I never want to speak to you again. It's actually the only time I've ever had like a real breakup, because this was my first real relationship where like I brought this guy home to mom and dad. Like, we traveled together. We were together for 4 years, you know. When we broke up, there was still some communication, because the agreement was that we were gonna still be cordial, still be friends to the best of our ability, and not just like hate each other after. So we still had that communication. So he was going through so much on top of the fact that I ended the romantic aspect of our relationship. And so that was trash, and me trying to maneuver all of these things and juggle all of that while in the middle of a pandemic, while going through the holidays, and trying to explain to my family that I am no longer in a relationship with this guy that they're so used to seeing all the time. And then, you know, dealing with my job, because that's a different story. Speaking of my job, I was working at a middle high school. I think some of you know this if you've been watching me for a while, but I was working in the administrative side of things for a while. And then this last year, when the pandemic started, I decided to teach. Well, this was prior to the pandemic, and then pandemic happened. So I still went in to that last year teaching. And pretty much after the year ended in March, they had a meeting with us and basically told us, hey, by the way, we're closing down. You no longer have a job next year. Figure it out. Now, some context. I had been praying for a long time and asking God to please provide me with something different. For a long time, I was feeling like education and the educational world was kind of like my safety blanket, and it's what I know, it's what I've been good at, so I'm just gonna stay here because it just gives me a check. And I was praying for a long time for something different, a new opportunity, something that brings me a little bit more income. And the man went ahead and just closed the whole school down. And I was like, sir, whoa. I know for a fact that God would never put me in a situation that I can't handle. And so the school closed down. Then on top of that, my emotional distress was taking complete control over everything that I was going through. Then on top of that, I started talking to this other guy. By the way, ladies, okay? Or gentlemen, whoever you are watching this video in this very moment, when you are going through a breakup, please do me a favor. Just don't find somebody else to lay up under, talk to, take up your time. Find yourself, because when you do this whole like leave someone and then get involved with someone else, whether you intended to or not, whether you had that person in your back pocket while you was ending this relationship or not, whether you just came across this person out of nowhere and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna give him the time of day. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. 99% of the time, it's not gonna end well, because you're literally leaving something fresh and entering something fresh. So all of those emotions are gonna take over and you're gonna be lost. You're not gonna know how to maneuver that situation and you're gonna feel crazy. And I'm speaking from experience because I thought I was like, I'm single. I could do this. I could do whatever I want. I'm ready for the next. What's good? Come through, Teddy. And then I find myself sleeping on my couch every single night, crying myself to sleep because I could not figure out why. I couldn't be happy and I couldn't be satisfied with my life. And it was because there was no structure. There was no me. There was Abby trying to pile up a whole bunch of stuff onto her life to void the real feelings that she was experiencing, to void having to really do the work to heal and find myself and acknowledge the fact that I needed to take a step back. My job closing down was the breaking point, the cherry on top for me deciding like, okay, I have to go. I have to go. I didn't know if that meant like I have to leave here physically, or I have to leave this apartment, or I have to leave this job or this career field and find something else. I didn't know what I have to go meant at that moment. Then I came across this opportunity, and came across this opportunity doesn't even sound right. I've been rocking with this nonprofit organization, my current job that I'm currently working. But let me tell you how good God is, right? Going back to that whole, God, I need something new. I want to find something new. And I'm telling you, I would do volunteer work. I was interning, just doing a whole bunch of free work because I just loved the mission, loved the work, loved everything about the organization. So I was rocking with this organization for a very long time. And I get a phone call from her, and she was the same person who put my name out there for me to get that Nike campaign and that Foot Locker campaign. For those of you that don't know, your girl modeled Nike and Foot Locker's Air Max Day campaign 2021. Absolutely killed it. I might as well just put some pictures in here for y'all to see because I really killed that. And I felt so grateful to God, my gosh, because man, like who comes across Nike and Foot Locker like that, you know? She gives me a call and she's like, hey, Abby, I know that we've been talking about this for a very long time and the nonprofit is growing. We finally have a budget to be able to hire a small staff, and I couldn't think of anyone better than you to be on the team. I literally bawled that night. I cried because I was like, God, how is it that I didn't even have to go out there and look? I asked you for a change and you brought the change to me. How crazy is that? When I'm telling y'all, when people like ask me how I go about doing everything that I do, I really can't give another answer other than like God is just doing his thing. I put my wants, I put my needs, I put myself out there to him, and he brings it back in return the things that he knows are good for me. The last day of school was June 9th, and on June 10th was my first day working for Girls Make Beats full time. So all of that transpiring, all of these things happening, I was like, okay, I'm single. There's nothing holding me here in Miami. I don't have to physically report to someone's building to make money. I work from home now. I can literally live anywhere I absolutely want. And so I packed everything I knew and I moved to New Orleans. The biggest part of me moving to New Orleans was not to escape anything in Miami. It was mostly to be a supportive system for my brother, who has been living here for over 10 years at this point, I think. He's been here alone in the sense that like no actual family has been in New Orleans with him. And I told him, I was like, I could move to LA, I could move to New York, or I could just go to New Orleans and be with you and spend some time with my nephew and just grow with you. And he was like, you can come with open arms. I'm not asking anything of you. Come, you know, we're siblings. My home is your home. Like, just come and have a great time and build and live and experience something new. And I was like, yes, 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 yes. And so now I'm here. And that's the story. That's the story. That's how I got to New Orleans. I have no regrets at all about the decision that I made to come to New Orleans and give myself a reset. Like literally allow myself to say, all right, here's a fresh start. Figure it out. I don't even know if I should continue this vlog because this is the juicy part. This is the good part of everything. You know, this is really what I wanted to get across. It's been such a blessing. I'm so grateful to God, and I can't wait to see where he takes me next.